You're listening to The Monks. You're here with The Monks. I'm Josh.
I'm Heather.
In this episode, the Monks take on Florida wildlife. Ooh. And what got you juiced up about maybe chatting about your home state?
I saw an article and it said that African killer bees were in Florida, Tampa to Orlando to Daytona.
We're going to Daytona.
Right, we're going to Daytona soon.
What'd the article say?
That, I just said it.
Did you read the article or did you read the headline?
No, but that was a gist.
That's based on strictly
Based on the headline.
So, okay, so I'll have to now Google it to be like, is this an ongoing event?
Well, I don't think it's anything to worry about.
Are you sure?
Don't get in a swarm of bees. You know how to live in Florida.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that is true. I'm not going to be like a tourist who's like, what do you do? It's
Let me just stir them all up.
Yeah, you know what to do. If you see bees, just kind of go the other way. There's tons of stuff in Florida that can kill you.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
What is
the most stuff probably in any state.
I was going to throw this to you like, oh, man. But you wrote down the list of the most deadly, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to have you read it. I was going to throw it to you like, oh, Heather just happened. But then it looks more psychotic. It's like Heather just keeps a running list. And it's like the stock market. It's like, oh, fire ants are making a top 10. Like,
that was my surprise animal. Dang. Come on, Josh.
Sorry.
10, American crocodile. Did you remember there being crocodiles in Florida?
I didn't.
Like vaguely, some places.
No, I have no recollection of somebody saying that was on the menu. And they're only 10th.
Because they're only in a specific area.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you have to be in that spot to get murdered.
Yes. Maybe in the Keys or something, I think, or something like somewhere like that, I would assume.
Yeah.
This is a total guess. I shouldn't.
I feel like it's somewhere in like careful of the mangroves. Don't be in the mangroves.
9, timber rattlesnake.
Specifically timber.
Timber.
Which again is it came in at 9th. This guy, what a stud. Only can be loosey-goosey in timber. Still crack the top 10. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. And enough people to be in that timber.
Yeah.
Seems like it would be less populated.
Not a bunch of loose. I don't know why I'm giving people in Florida this one. Hey, not a bunch of loose timber over there.
Cajun.
What?
They're not Cajun.
No, they're not.
8, wild boar.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of wild boar.
I know them very well. Central Florida special.
7, Florida panther. I know that they've hung out at my parents' house because I feel like I've heard one in the dark.
I know. If it wasn't that, then it was something equally scary because I certainly have seen enough of a silhouette with eye height going,
Here's a left turn black widow spider. That's not I think that's a bug.
Yeah, that is, and again, it's like, that's got to happen to you mostly when you just sit down somewhere you didn't check or something. You know?
In a shoe.
But panther's sexy. But it's so easy to not get killed by a panther if you really think about it. I mean, they came in at 6 because they are an apex predator. But, still, I kind of go, I'm not going to be in my seat. But spiders, they can be anywhere.
Yeah. Number 5, cottonmouth snake. And then we have eastern diamond back rat. I should have worn glasses. I can't.
That's okay. Like, get your
not
cheats.
Acting like I'm 40.
Go get your little cheats.
3, alligator.
Yeah.
2, bull shark. Number 1, great white shark.
I feel like number 1, great white shark probably gets it for most places if they're touching salt water, right? Like it's like, I do what I do, unless I just happen to not populate your neck of the woods or something.
Absolutely.
Because they're pretty efficient at what they're doing. They got it in their name. No, they didn't. What was I thinking they were called? Killer white sharks. They're not. They're great white sharks. That would be a white shark thing to be like, put great in front of it, maybe. Why? You're a white shark. Great white. Great white shark. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Come on, I kill the most people.
I guess fire ants wasn't on that list, huh?
But do you think that sometimes it does? Right? And here's my thing. So is that a type of fire ant that can kill you? Is it like I don't know, a strong reaction, like a stronger than normal reaction or something?
Maybe if you're allergic.
I understand there's a lot of elderly people but the way I've ever had to deal with ants, there's a lot of opportunity to get away. You know, it's a real easy thing to kind of go somewhere they can't go. If I think about fire ants and they go, now they might kill you, I go, I stepped in a running shower. I think I'm going to make it. Like a cottonmouth bites you once, it's like you're toast. So I'm like, are these people that had strong reactions? I don't want to know if it's like, oh, maybe it's smaller people, you know.
Yeah.
I go, I don't want to know that. I want to keep it fun. But honestly, people are probably watching little ones more than grown-ups watching out for fire ants. Because I feel like, I mean, look at my cockiness. Right away, I was like, fire ants? We used to just put our hands and play a game of chicken and fire ants to see who could hold it the longest. Just in there like, ooh, oh. Ah! Like just losing it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What would be on that list? What would you be the most afraid of?
I am afraid of gators. I am afraid of gators because I like to swim. And I'm afraid enough of gators that I don't do a lot of lakes in Florida and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'd say gator. Like I would go in the woods and I almost, knowing there's panthers, I've always just kind of operated like, yeah, I'm probably not going to run into one. You know, second, because again, I've had personal experience with them. Boars. Boars are actually pretty gnarly to deal with. So yeah, I'd say those. What about you?
Yeah, I think alligators too, because I always want to swim and I never swim in their stuff. I'll swim if it's crystal clear,
right?
But if it's not, I won't get in.
Even then though, you're still thinking about it. You know?
Well, oh my gosh, when we were on that kayak trip, you told me after the fact because you knew I would freak out, but it said what, water moccasin breeding ground?
Breeding ground, yeah. And I had, oh man, water moccasins are scary. I'm surprised they're not on that list, but again, I guess it's because like you got to go where they are. But my buddies and I, when we would go knee boarding, it was just in the lake there in Wildwood. So it's not like the nicest lake. And there's that tall grass, you know, that would grow. And we just would whip each other into the grass, like for fun. But that tends to be where they are breeding and stuff like that. And so one day I got slung. And I always say, like, whenever I think back on a few memories of being young, if a bunch of teenage boys are like worried for you, you know you're like doomed. If your peer group are boys and they're like, oh my God, like we care about the outcome, you're already in trouble. Because I just remember seeing it like just coming across, and I got the knee board and I just started making waves, and then they managed to get over to me. And I don't even have a recollection of how the exit out of the water was. I just was in the boat, you know, I was like, and then we were just like, I don't know that we went again. Like, you know, I was probably like 17 and I know I didn't.
You got so scared.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, not worth it.
Not worth it. I'm not today.
Yep.
I'll go back again, but not today.
Yep. One time after that, a canal that connected to the lake, a buddy of mine, we snuck out. His parents lived on the lake. So we puttered out in like a John boat. And when we were puttering back, we were in this canal that I think it was just called Gator Alley or Gator Canal, something Gator. And we broke down. And this shows how stupid you are, because we swam down the canal, tucking in, getting knee high, you know, just holding yourself like in a little meatball shape, which is not correct if you think about it. Like, it's harder to get a noodle, you know, like a loose spaghetti noodle. I've missed on those. I've never missed a meatball. So that was a bad protocol. But we were so scared of breaking curfew. They were just like, no. And you could hear them. Dumb.
I was just so locked in on that part of your story because I was thinking, well, they're kind of at the top. So even if you are loose or balled up, you're same.
On them.
Yeah.
When they show them like drop like a chicken, like at like a Gatorland. When you see those clips at Gatorland, which what a Florida thing, right? It's like, we're going to take a monstrous thing. It's so common here. In fact, we made a theme park around it. And they're smart, because what's the one thing everybody asks you when you say that you live, I'm from Florida. You see any gators? Do you know where there are gators? Do you know a gator?
Or any body of water, if they ask you, they always ask, do you think there's alligators in there? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. If it's in Florida, yeah. I'm like, if you're showing me a picture of a Florida lake, absolutely. But Gatorland never went. Did you?
No.
You never went to Gatorland,
No.
right? I'm not paying for this. I'm gonna pay for what? I worked at a gas station one time that had a gator. It's everywhere there. Gators everywhere. Like it just had a gator. Like
Yeah.
I was from such a small town in such a little Florida town, like middle school, high school, that I didn't even think it was odd until I was like got some distance. I was like, that's horrible. That's terrible. I was like, oh, gator? Yeah, he's over there. He just sat over there. You could buy oranges right by him.
Was it in a cage? What
No,
was-
it was just like a hollowed out. All right.
Oh, like a
So they were
taxidermy.
No, live little gator.
Oh.
No, because it was like they just took a thing that they used to put the oranges in, and they did some kind of liner in it, and they just put a little bit of water. You know, somebody did a little design, little terrarium action, and it would just be in there, and it was just small enough that it couldn't get out. It's just like a little baby gator, which also makes me wonder, they're switching out gators. Like, these gators ain't staying babies, but that baby gator was there the whole time I was.
Oh my goodness!
I'll have to ask
Was
Will
it alive?
if it was always. It was definitely alive, but I'll have to ask Will if he remembers. Like, because in my mind, it was there every single day, and for all I know, he'll be like, it was there one weekend, like they did a thing, an event, because he worked there too. It was a great job. But
Yeah.
you could literally like buy your Florida sunshine, see a gator, you know, get
Of
your
course.
oranges, get a little formaldehyde shark. It was everything. That's the spice of life when you live in a small town where the 75 meets the turnpike.
But those kind of stores are all over, or
Everywhere.
you know, all
Everywhere.
over Central Florida. at
They're
least.
money makers.
Yeah.
Those people are, you know, absolute millionaires who own those things. I mean, it's a cash cow. And I think, it's one of those things too. Once you do something like that, like I worked at that place, I can't help it. Anytime we're road tripping, I go, I wonder what family, you know, owns. I wonder what their weirdo little thing is. That's the thing that always appeals to me. I go, what do they got? Like, and again, I don't condone this, but there is a part of my small town country mouse where I go, I wonder if they got a donkey or something. Like, you know, I wonder what their thing is. Do they dress up a dog? Is it just a big chair? Because
Yeah,
you know it's
because
something.
those are really not as good as a little baby alligator.
No. But not everybody has as many things. Like everybody has an alligator story. Like truly, what is an alligator story that you have? A firsthand encounter.
Okay. My dad and I were swimming around the edge of Alexander Springs
Yep.
because I wanted to catch a baby turtle to have as a pet.
Yep.
And he always let me do things like I was going to get a animal as a pet, and I never got it. Whatever.
What a dad thing. He goes, hey, go tickle your mind a little bit at the idea of a turtle.
Let's see. Chinchillas was one. You know, I've had
So
several.
he would just let you go there, kind of exhaust yourself emotionally,
Yes.
and then be like, hey, not going to be a chinchilla. That's actually great.
So we were swimming around. I was looking for a baby turtle
Yeah.
to keep as a pet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like, let's go back. Let's swim back.
Okay.
And we're only not even probably halfway around. So I don't
and
want
you
to go
thought you were
back.
going to do like a full, okay.
And he's like, no, pretty insistent. And so I'm like kind of like mad, and I'm swimming, and I'm like asking what's going on. And
So calm. You're not a bratty kid about
No.
it. You're like, I'm mad, but I'm just asking.
I'm
like,
just politely
Garçon?
saying,
Garçon, I was told that
Excuse?
there'd be turtle soup. So you're bratting out.
yeah. And so he tells me that there was an alligator. It was very big, and he came kind of face to face.
Your dad did.
And
Jeez.
so he's like, I didn't really want to hang around.
Yeah.
It was, eyes met, but then he's like, under the water, I saw the whole,
I don't care if it's
curled-
just a head. If I don't want to be wherever, say that scenario. Say he goes, I didn't see the whole body. I saw a floating head. I go, who's killing gators and chumming heads in the water? Let's go anyway. Like,
So after he told me, of course, I really, really scared, and I just surfed him back
Yeah.
to shore. I picture it like I was Frankie Avalon in the end of Back to the Beach, where I'm really surfing. I'm
Yeah.
surfing that big kahuna or whatever.
Yeah.
No, what was it? Humunga Cowabunga from Down Under.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So your dad, this is early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
So he's got the stash. Stash is happening.
He shaved it off. I asked him to shave it off when
Really?
I was little. He shaved it, and I was like, ah!
And then he never grew it back.
He never grew it back. Yeah.
Your dad really commits when he does something. He's like, Never doing it again.
Yep.
Your dad ate yogurt every day in his lunch, right? That was the thing he enjoyed in his lunch every day. Got him through a work day. Why did your dad stop eating yogurt?
He felt that they were making them.
Felt. He didn't even confirm it.
He felt that they were making the packaging smaller, but charging the same price.
They were. If he felt that, honestly, as a consumer, they definitely were.
So he switched to Jell-O. He doesn't even like Jell-O. He said, I don't like Jell-O.
But he knew nobody liked it enough where they'd start to mess with it. I actually respect that so hard because I go, none of us will ever just bite the bullet and go, no.
Yeah.
And that's why we get stepped on so much. Your dad does, like, I mean, he got a ticket going through Winter Garden, Florida. One ticket, one time. He would not go to Winter Garden and eat dinners, buy things. He would ask that your mom not go there.
My mom did not.
Your mom did not adhere to the Winter Garden, you know, what is it, like strike or like boycott? But he, for 1 year, did not go to anyone's business there. He was like, nope, then you already got my money.
Well, he said that he didn't want them to have his sales tax.
Yeah. He shut it down. Winter Garden got a crack in a sidewalk somewhere right now because they didn't have enough. They go, we ran out of cement. We need a little bit of more money. And they said, Steve's not coming. Steve's not coming to help y'all. Okay? That crack stays. It's kind of like when a city person really knows how to navigate the city. I feel like when you first move to a city, you're enamored with that. Like you're in awe of how much a city person can navigate a city. And you forget they're just as enamored when you don't react to stuff that you typically, that they would like absolutely be like, oh my, you know, it's like, yeah, that's a gator. Like your dad went eye to eye with a gator. He didn't panic. He's
been there before.
Went away because he's done that already. He already had his panic episode with that. Like I remember I went out, and the reason I remember this too is because like my mom's brothers, my uncles, I didn't spend a lot of time with them once I was older, you know, like even like 12 on, it was, you know, pretty rare that I was around them. So any memories, it's like I go, oh yeah, I had this memory of going out. My Uncle Mike took me to, and this is a very redneck thing, his property. I knew a lot of guys who just go, we're going out to the property, which is, they don't live there. They bought a piece of property because it's dirt cheap and it's just wild property. It's like got no utilities. It's got nothing on it. And it's just, they buy it to hunt on it. Into like 4-wheel drive or do whatever they want. Just be out there, you know. And so we're bopping around in his truck and we're boar hunting. And I already, even at that age, I was probably 12, knew I didn't like hunting. I had been hunting adjacent enough times. Like I saw my buddies like clean squirrels once. I was like not into it. They gave us some of the meat. I didn't eat it. Like I remember my mom said, I said, I want to come home with this squirrel meat. And she's like, okay. If I'm putting that in the freezer, like you're cooking it, you know, so she takes it out and I said, I got to throw this away. Like I didn't, she was very smart. She was like, okay, if you want to cook the squirrel meat. So I've been hunting a few times. I didn't want to kill a boar because a squirrel is much smaller than a boar, very disgusting to process. And luckily we didn't, but I remember as we were leaving, the truck got a flat and it's dark and he's got this spotlight, which I did think the spotlight was kind of fun. I'm like, hey, we're looking at stuff. But it's a weird feeling to be like high brush, nothing, no nothing. And he just goes, hey, keep that light on the bushes and move it around a lot, but keep it near me. And he goes, watch my back. And I was like, what? And you know what I thought? My Uncle Mike was an intimidating guy. So I thought if whatever can kill him, like I'm done. I'm done for. You know, I mean, he had guns and stuff, so I guess maybe I wouldn't have been, but he knew how to use them a lot better, and he seemed very concerned, like, you know, and he also knew me well enough now that I look back on that story, not one time did he even ask if I could help change that tire. Not one time did he go, I got eyes on it, you just got to change the tire. He was like, his hands are so soft. And I think the reason that that uncle knew that I wasn't the guy to watch the brushes, I remember just driving there, I was like, pretty bumpy, huh? No roads out this way. Good God. Can I please get my bearings? I think when you say get your bearings to a real, like, he's spitting tobacco juice everywhere. I think whenever I reacted poorly to the bumpiness, he was like, this guy doesn't know how to change a tire. But yeah, you think about like Gatorland, and we haven't been to Gatorland, but you get the gist. Right? Like they're going to put their head in a mouth. Kids are going to be holding taped up little hostage gators, just taped mouths. I'm sure they love that.
Just rubbing bellies, putting them to sleep.
Oh, yeah. All day
I wonder if they put them in a little crib. Because, that's how you put them to sleep is rub their belly.
Put them in a little gator
down.
crib made out of an old tortoise shell. Just the whole ecosystem on display. Everything about it's kind of wrong. Welcome to Gatorland. I don't know that Gatorland's bad. It may be delightful and help with preservation of gators if you're into that. But I did see recently an article where this trainer of gators, I don't know where it was at.
Trainer
of gators. Like, you think they just know how to let me put my head in their mouth? They got to train them.
Oh.
So she put her arm out and he snatched onto her hand. And I mean, and she gets into the area with them, and they said that's what saved her life. Like that he more than likely could have like torn her arm off or really did such damage that she could have died right there.
Yeah.
But getting in, and he rolled her bang, bang, bang.
Was she in
bang.
the water?
No.
Oh,
it was dry land. So to watch her get rolled, you got to see the full force of like whap, whap. But what was crazy was like she was super smart to have done so. She was really mangled on the hand, but she'll be okay. Like stitches, maybe. I mean, I'm assuming maybe some bones, But overall, you'd be shocked at the limited nature of her injuries, given how violent it was. And I thought, dang.
Was it long enough where you think she would have drowned if they were in the water?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if they took you so far as a foot down with that level of energy, there's just no way for you to get another breath. And I just don't. I mean, I know people are like, and I'll just like, and I'm like, hold on. Sorry, I didn't say a whole sentence. I'm just like going to hold my breath. And I said, the people that you see setting these records, if you watch them, like, have you ever seen the Tom Cruise footage or the Kate Winslet footage when they're setting records for like being able to hold their breath for like a film? Like, they're like, oh my gosh, they didn't, breathe for 6 minutes. They're so still. And they have a person with like their hand on their back, just waiting for any signal that they are not okay to like rescue them. They're not being rolled.
Why couldn't they just pull their head out?
Well, they're intentionally holding their head in the water.
Oh, the person's holding their head.
No, they're underwater holding their breath.
So why couldn't they just lift their head
if they say they push past the point of like, oh, I should have pulled my head out. I mean, you could go.
I didn't think your body would let you do that. Would it?
I think Tom Cruise's body would let him do whatever he asked it to. I really do.
Yeah.
My body would not. I'd be like, oh God, I just didn't like the way that felt. There was too much pressure on that. There's too much no. Hands off. Too much pressure on that. I thought he was going to push me. I don't like it. But Tom Cruise, I feel like, would militantly just be able to accidentally kill himself. Like where they're like, he's just so dedicated and he just loves cinema so much. He's very brave. People really came around. They were like, you gotta, if nothing else, this dude is brave and loves movies. The trainer, I was like, that is simultaneously, it's like you're a smart dumb person or a dumb smart person. Because there's no part of me, if you say that you're dealing with gators on like a first name basis like that, I go, that's dumb. I don't care if you work at a zoo. The first person who did it was dumb. You're dumb. I appreciate it, but it's dumb. Does that make sense? It's like the first person who goes, I'm going to grab this thing that'll like could kill us and I'm going to put it over here so other people like you can look at it. I go, appreciate it. Dumb. Yeah. Shouldn't be doing that. Leave stuff where it is. But smart, new to like get in there. I feel like a lot of people would have just a reaction,
to yank their arm.
Yeah, you can think whatever, but it's
that's
like
rip your arm
the
off.
first time that's ever happened, and she just had the like her presence of mind, the way she got in with it. It's like very intentional.
Yeah.
And I just thought
it was no reason. I mean, you don't think they.
Gator.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite thing of those clips. They go, and we don't know why it did that. I said, we've lost the thread. It's a gator. He's not your friend. It's a shark. You're not supposed to pet him. Like, there's this new documentary. I can't wait to watch it, but it's just like, I go, what are the odds it ends badly? Where it's just like, she loved to go out and pet sharks. And then she decided to pet great white sharks. And he goes, some people are saying, I guess, just call me white shark. They don't like the great.
I held a shark sickle once at sea camp.
That was in Florida for sure.
Yeah.
A shark sickle.
It was a frozen baby shark.
But people weren't. I
It
have
was
to
dead.
ask.
What?
People weren't eating these, were they? No. It is Florida. Get on
It
that.
was sea camp. It was
Yeah.
for science.
Yeah. Was that a blast? That seems like it would be an absolute blast.
Yeah, amazing. So
See, that's
fun.
the thing. Florida giveth and Florida taketh. Like, I mean, that's incredible. Like, people who are from like the middle of America don't usually get to go to sea camp. You know what I mean? That's such a cool thing to get to go down there. Did you guys do anything like? Did you brush up against Florida wildlife at sea camp? I'm assuming.
I would assume so, but I don't. Nothing that was scary, you know.
No.
It was palmettos, and we were in the ocean, and played manhunt in the mangroves. So maybe
You definitely were
saltwater
around
crocodile.
some stuff. Yeah, you were around some stuff. That's a bunch of Florida kids for you, because mangroves are kind of scary. And you were out. You weren't like on a board or a kayak.
No, I was covered in mud, laying still in like
Sucking
1
on a
inch of
shark
water,
sickle. What y'all doing after this?
laying in like 1 inch of water, like hiding, you know.
Shark sickle. And I know that like it's just like, oh, you can look at it, but I can't help but think of Florida kids just sucking on them like,
Oh, I totally didn't even put that together. That's what
no.
I meant.
Oh God. I was like the Florida of it all. I'm like, I don't know, they're probably eating them or something. Like, you know, just like, oh yeah, you suck on it and then you know, it's gonna make you strong. It's gonna make you real strong.
Oh my goodness. I am a Florida girl who did have horses, but I was never a horse girl.
What is a horse girl?
I think it's a girl who likes horses, and I hated them.
You had
Oh.
horses, you were not a fan.
Not a fan.
Why?
Least fan-esque. Least fan girl.
Least fan. Put me down as a no.
No, thank you. They bit me. They bucked me.
When they bit you, was it mostly like on your hands? Mm-hmm. So that means you were what, petting them, feeding them?
You would be around them and they just turn around and bite you. We
Really?
did get good ones. We
That's-
did get sweet ones. Somehow they were all mean.
Oh man, it hurts when a horse bites you. The greatest lie that bumpkins will tell you is, oh, it's just, you know, they got flat teeth. You hear that? Like, oh, they got flat teeth.
Yeah, they're
But the
still
thing is,
gotta-
they grind. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was a little kid, we'd go visit my great grandma in Florida. And if you walk down the street, there were some horses right there. And I remember like 2 days in a row, I fed them carrots, and it was the most glorious thing in the world. Fed them a carrot, gave them a pat, and they're, you know, and I was like, oh, this is great. Third day, I go up, gets a little too excited on the carrot. I'm wearing a camo shirt. We don't know where the disconnect happened. But he bites the arm. I'm wailing. I'm wailing. And I just remember getting back. I was so hurt physically, but I was also emotionally hurt.
Of course.
I didn't understand
It's a
where.
betrayal.
Yeah. I didn't understand where we went wrong. And my mom goes, maybe he just didn't know where your shirt ended. You know, trying to save it for me and the horse's relationship. I was like, I'm done. Never again.
That's so your mom.
So that is. So you would just get bit all the time by them.
Not all the time, but sometimes, you know.
And they bucked you?
bucked me all the time.
Doesn't that,
All the time.
Doesn't that really hurt?
Yeah. I one time was thrown on. Oh God, we shouldn't have had horses. I'm just thinking about all these things. One time it bucked me off into a cactus, and I had to go to the doctor to get it pulled out. It was so
it's
deep.
so bad that they're like weak. Because you know parents, especially during that time, they don't want to take us to a doctor. So they couldn't get, did they try to get it out?
I mean, I was covered in them. There were several I couldn't get out.
That's bad.
Yeah.
And getting cactuses out of people, it's like, it's bad. I remember when I was in high school, this kid was hitting whippets at the lake, Florida. Hitting whippets at the lake, hitting whippets at the lake, hitting whippets at the lake. Oh my God. Which is what everybody sounded like. I did not partake because I had seen a Dateline special that showed how it froze your brain and those areas wouldn't recover. And now I realize my mom probably made me watch that. But it worked like a charm. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll pass. And I remember he hit it. Sounds like the devil. Falls down, pops up. He's laughing his head off, having the greatest time of his life. Absolutely impaled by cactuses every which way. And he's just laughing his head off. And I just remember one was so deep in his hand They called a paramedic. They were like, yeah, somebody's gonna have to dig that, like get that out properly. Like they may need to x-ray you to make sure we're not doing something we shouldn't do or something.
We once were on a ride and it was just a terrible day. Every
You're
one
on
of
a
us
horse
had
ride.
every one of us had something happen that day. But
Where are you going?
just around next to the turnpike.
So it wasn't even, I mean, not that I know you guys obviously have cars and stuff. It's not like, we got to get to the thing. But you weren't like, you were just like, oh, this will be a fun thing. Your family thought a family ride.
Yes.
Ugh.
And one of them, it had my dad and my sister on it, stepped 3 of its feet at the exact same moment into an old barrel ring
Florida.
that was on the ground.
Florida.
It got stuck.
3 of its feet.
3 of
did.
its feet in this barrel ring.
Oh.
So it's like,
And this is a full grown horse?
yeah.
Oh, geez.
And it had
so it's
2
going
of them
crazy.
on. Yeah. Bing, 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 bing. And they're just, whoa, my sister's glasses fly off somewhere. They're both kind of hurt.
So that's
but
your
then-
dad and your sister.
Yeah. And finally it gets, free and it freaks out and it's like running with them and stuff. It was
So they're on the horse
Yes.
while it's like,
yeah. And so I got off my horse. I found my sister's glasses and then my horse ran away.
I did you a solid. Oh. And if I know
my
your dad,
goodness.
he took that in stride.
He was so chill.
He was so understanding. He goes, "Hey, you're doing a nice thing for your sister."
Yeah.
And your mom is just,
At home.
she's not there. She didn't go. So your mom already knew she hated horses. So she's at that point where you are right now.
I was already there too. I was.
But your dad's like, we're doing it. We got him. We're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then your horse on this one ran away. Your dad's did that. Okay. That's relatively not terrible, I guess.
Yeah.
Compared to getting bucked off or, bit. Anything else horse related that happened?
Yeah.
Because you guys
there
never
were
got
so
horses
ma-
again, obviously.
No, but we had them for a long time.
Yeah.
And well, my mom couldn't really, she wouldn't do the saddle tight enough. And I only know she didn't do it tight enough is because one time I was running on it and the saddle started sliding and I'm
Jeez.
sliding on the side, but I was already running.
But there's nothing
so
you can do. You're definitely going to fall.
I was like trying really hard to kind of just stay on and try to get her to slow down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I did fall
Full-grown
off.
horse or pony?
Well, she was a pony, but she was almost the same as a
Pretty
horse.
stout.
Yeah.
Not a miniature pony.
No, she was
be
big. She
hysterical.
looked like a horse,
Yeah.
and just into the barbed wire. I mean, I just sheared up ripped my shorts off in front of everyone.
Jeez Louise.
I was so mad.
You were mad. You weren't.
I was so hurt.
Were you
I
crying
was
your eyes out?
I don't probably.
I can't imagine not. Right?
I
You're
just
like just
remember
entangled in
storming
barbed wire.
off.
So when you stormed off, did you go on foot? You're like, no more horse for me that day, or you
Yes.
still had to get on a horse?
No, I was at home.
Okay. Because I always think of those moments like when you do something like that, but you happen to be out, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, you gotta get the bike home,
Well, that's
or you
how-
gotta get the horse home, or
After-
whatever.
Yeah, after it threw me in the cactus, I had to get back on,
That's so funny.
get home.
And you're covered in cactus riding in the cactus.
Big
incident.
ones, tiny ones, invisible ones, all of them.
How long? Do you know how long it took the doctor to get them out of you?
My mom got most of them out and only took me to the doctor for a couple.
Oof.
And it wasn't that day either.
It was like she was hoping maybe they'd probably come out a
don't
little
know.
bit. And
Yeah.
Maybe, we've all had to wait on something like that, where they're just like, let's just see if that does it. Okay, she's really hurt. I stepped on something one time as a kid. I just remember I think my mom may have waited a little bit too late on that one because I just remember the doctor looking over and going, yeah, he could have, this is a pretty bad infection. He actually could have got blood poison. This could get bad.
Sheesh.
And she was like, he stepped on something. I brought him here when he said it hurt really bad. And I was like, I am a hard guy to get to go to. Even when I was a kid, I was a hard kid to get to say yeah, I want to go to the doctor. So I think anytime I did say it, she was like, okay.
Yeah.
And that was the time because it just hurt so bad. Sometimes you just got to get a doc in there and let them do their thing. Mm-hmm. Or in his case, dig around and go, I don't know, I can't find anything. It must have just been something very dirty. And then he goes, where'd you step on it? This is the best part. Where'd you step on it? Out in the wilderness? I was like, it was in our carpet. And my mom goes, just say it's in the wilderness.
we had a buffalo that lived down the street from me.
Did people ride it?
No, I pet it a couple times.
Yeah.
Someone poisoned it and it died.
They're sure it was poisoned.
Well, I mean, that's what I've been told. Rumors around the neighborhood. I don't know if it's been confirmed, if there was an autopsy.
Did anybody, it's fine, I know you're a kid, so you may not have been privy to this, but did anyone have, like, you know, motive? Like, were people like, we really don't like the buffalo?
I didn't Nancy Drew it, so those people did move out pretty soon after that, I think. And so maybe
I'm actually surprised you didn't. That feels like something you would have been into, to just kind of
I think I
crawl around and be like,
I probably didn't know it was gone or dead for a long time.
And then you just heard stories. Aren't those the best small town stories? They're like, I heard somebody poison that buffalo. And you go, why? And they go, well, not a lot of people like that buffalo on the street. Did they not?
Why not?
I'd heard nothing but fond things about it just stood. How much damage could it really be doing? People didn't like the uppity nature of the buffalo people. They thought, get a regular thing like a horse or a cow. Buffalo, why? You know? Poison it. That's what I heard anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I don't know.
I know that my horse went to somebody who I believe rode it
Poisoned
in the rodeo.
buffalo.
Rode it in the rodeo, you know, like
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like barrel racing and stuff.
So a horse girl.
Yeah.
Like someone
A
who's
true
going to,
horse girl,
that's
yes.
probably a better joining of two souls at that point, where you go, yeah, I don't want to do this. You do have to really be into it, because at the end of the day, it's like this very elaborate pet / service animal that you have to put away in like a little horse condo every night and go like, you live on your own though. It's weird because almost any other animal that you love that much that's domesticated to an extent lives with us in some capacity, and they're just like, okay, you're on the property.
Or maybe you're not at the property. Maybe you're at a stable or something.
That's true. We would see that whenever we would go to like Griffith Park in LA. Like people, you know, keep their horses out there and just take them for rides. And I go, those are city horses though. They go, yeah, what do I want to live in Burbank? No, thank you. A lot of racket. I just want to chill out here with my blinders on. Thank you. Rodeo barrel racing. We just saw something about the rodeo. You're talking about a lady who was riding her in the rodeo, right? And we just saw a show. What was it called?
Not Her First Rodeo.
Not Her First Rodeo. That's a good name.
It was a great name.
I couldn't remember it, but it was a good name.
I loved it, actually. I was like, these are cool. These ladies are cool.
What was it though? Like,
I'm sorry. Lady Bull Riders.
Lady Bull Riders. I thought that was awesome.
That's scary.
And that's some nasty business, man. Like bull riding, even with like the modern day, like the flak jacket and the helmet that some of them wear, it's like you're still riding a bull. You know, it's still and that's what they showed over and over again in that show. It's like all it takes is one step down, and it's just like curtains for that leg.
Oof.
Yeah, and they did it. And one of the lines was like, a guy was like, you know, talking about the difference. Because, of course, there's that narrative, like, why don't they want at some of the rodeos for them to have women bull riders? Like, why is there pushback sometimes and stuff? Because they talked about, some people were into it. A lot of people, you know, hesitate to really want us at their events and stuff like that. And the one guy was like, I think people have a hard time because when it's your son doing it and it could kill him, it's at least for like potentially millions of dollars. But they have that same risk of death, and it's like for $150. And I think people just have a hard time sometimes with that. And I go,
he was referring to, would he let his daughter do it? Yeah.
And I understand both sides of that equation as much as I can. I understand that I'm like, hey, if you want to do it, and it's a thing, like all those ladies were willing to put it on the line to do it, I think you definitely should, and I'm glad they are. But I completely understand like that level of like, I don't know if this is a thing, but almost like kind misogyny, where you're like, I just don't know if it's worth watching you get that hurt or dead for nothing.
Right.
Like if it were fair enough.
It's something for them.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I saw that they had to wash their outfits at the car wash because it was you need a pressure, I was like, oh, no, thank you.
I love those kind of details.
Oh, yeah.
Like documentary filmmaking is great. It's great. But I think it also, like, if you watch a lot of documentary, it'll make you a better filmmaker because it really does a great job. It has to, of those little moments. And it's just that girl and her mom. And at first I'm like at a loss. I was like, why are they doing this? And her mom just goes, there's just too much poop. We gotta clean it off before we can ever put it in the washing machine. And I was like, this is great though, because it's just, I don't know, it's a very interesting image to watch somebody just, I thought they were doing it honestly to shrink their pants because their pants are so tight. I thought, I don't know.
What about Knight's outfits? That seems safer.
Knights. I thought that for the stomping, but I bet every other aspect would suffer immediately. Like they're like, we can't even get or stay on the bull.
Yeah.
Because it's just so heavy.
There's got to be some kind of
there's
metal.
This motorcycle jacket, right? That not a lot of motorcyclists even wear, but when you fall off before you land, it does inflatables. And I thought maybe if they did that on your legs and like just when you fall off, it goes off.
I don't think the falling off's what hurts them.
Right. But it might make the impact of the stepping on a lot less.
You think?
Yeah. If I wrapped you in a big like raft like material and a bull stepped on it, it's going to hurt, but it may protect you much
it's not.
better.
It's like raft material.
It's in that vein, to me, it's kind of like football helmets. You can't play football, especially at like the highest level, and not run the risk of having like brain injuries, concussions. But with the new modern technology, they can definitely be less than what they were, say, in the 80s or something, and, so I'm just like, you're trying to mitigate risk where you can.
What about some sort of, I don't know, I'm pitching this to you like you're going to create
I'm coming here. I'm going to buy something.
Are you on Shark Tank?
Welcome to Bullseye. It's a show, but it's all bull-centric ideas. What do you got?
Some kind of motorcycle-esque outfit, but it has like plates in it to protect them,
All right, so dinner plates. I like it. Opa! When they get broken.
Oh, the bones.
No, the plates. Good Lord. The bones. Just some maniac ambulance guy. Opa! Every time a bone gets broken. Hey, you gotta calm down. Like, it's very offensive what you're doing. Here's the thing. We're talking about like how they can protect themselves. Remember the one lady who ran the league and she was like the world champion female bull rider. And sometimes if she didn't feel the bull was challenging enough, because that's the thing that's so cool. They draw their bull. They don't know the day they show up or the night they show up who they're riding. They put all the little like poker chips in and they just pull it out at random. So you don't know what bull you got till you got it, basically. But I noticed that like she walked that walk so tough that if she didn't think the bull was challenging enough, she wouldn't wear a helmet. She'd go out just cowboy hat. And I said, I think it mattered so much to her that she was seen as an equal to the male bull rider. She's like, if the bull, because it's the same bulls. That's the other thing. Like anybody who's not seen this, it's like they're riding the exact same bulls. That's, there's 8 seconds is 8 seconds. I don't know what the advantage of what disadvantage or there's nothing easier for them. It's like, if they're staying on, they're staying on. And I think that it was very interesting. I like documentaries that just take you into a little nook and cranny of the world that you're like, I don't know. I'd been to one rodeo my entire life. It was never my thing, but getting to see it that way interesting. It's like you with sports. You don't love sports, but you love a sports movie. Because there's just, there's character arcs. There's build up. There's a crescendo effect. I think sports fans see those moments themselves, in the little things. And then also the gambling and the rage and the like towniness of it all. But I do think that, the minutia of it.
My goodness.
What?
You really ripped sports fans a new one.
I am a sports fan. I'm just saying, all those things are true. But yeah, thinking of like Florida, we're talking about Florida wildlife. So all the stuff that was on that list is native to Florida, as far as I could tell. Like everything in the top 10 is natively occurring. But Florida also has that extra spice, that little like, what is that? Which is animals that take over that are not indigenous to the area.
Absolutely. And
summer's benign is like, when it gets, cold and they get a freeze, you'll have iguanas dropping out of trees down in like Miami and stuff. And it's like, they're not native. Just people let go of pet iguanas enough that now they are just there.
There used to be one in the apartment behind the apartments that we lived in
Tampa.
that had a little creek behind it.
Mm-hmm.
There was an iguana that lived up in that tree.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be there.
No.
It was huge.
And that little creek, how did we find it? My buddy who is from Wildwood heard a creek, had a fishing pole in his car, went out to do some fishing.
Yeah.
We looked up and there was an iguana. There's the boa constrictors in the Everglades. Everglades is nightmare fuel. It's gators, it's mangroves, it's bodies getting dumped, it's everything. And people have dumped boa constrictors out there so frequently when they don't know what to do with their stupid boa constrictors that now they're overtaking the ecosystem. They're really mucking up. And think about that ecosystem and they go, this is too much.
Yeah.
This is too much. So now you can actually make good money if you got it in you to go out there and remove them.
Is that what that Jennifer Lopez movie was about?
Anaconda?
Removing the anaconda.
I don't know. I just know that my anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon. That died a miserable death. I don't remember. I saw Anaconda as a kid in theaters and I couldn't tell you. Other than they're on a river with John Voight doing like something. He's doing something extra in that movie and they're looking for snakes for some reason. And they're big. But the boa constrictor thing. Your mom just saw a thing. This is the ultimate like, hey, these ain't supposed to be here.
She saw something that I don't know if it was a public service announcement saying if you see a monkey, don't look it in the eye. They're getting so aggressive. The monkeys that were like at some home zoo that got loose. That escaped. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Think about how much that the people who put out the public service announcement don't have a handle on this. That you go, public service announcement, there are some loose, what we thought to be docile, friendly, captive monkeys, free, got loose. If you happen upon them, don't make eye contact, I guess. They're getting crazy mad.
Go submissive.
Go completely submissive. It's like, what are we doing to catch the monkeys? Can't catch them. Just probably easiest thing, one of these. Like, did you see? Oh, God. Oh, they're so scary. They're so scary. I one time when I was leaving a buddy's house out in the country of Florida, it's nighttime, so I see something run across a pasture road, and it looked like a monkey. And I remember thinking, I was like, "There's no way that was a monkey. It doesn't make any sense." And then the next day, he was just like, "Oh yeah, there used to be an illegal zoo, and when they busted, the guy just let everything loose. They caught most things, but the monkeys were the things they couldn't catch." And I said, "That's Planet of the Apes stuff right there." First off, you can't catch them. Right? Every other thing they caught, like big cats they caught, like eventually a big cat is going to walk out. A monkey's just out here living, doing stuff. Monkey trouble, right? Just being trained by little girls to rob people's houses. Those people didn't do anything to deserve that. Watch that movie now as a homeowner, as somebody who pays taxes, and you go, wait a minute, this monkey's just stealing all my stuff.
Were they mean people? Did you
I don't think they were
mean?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Oh. Yeah, like monkeys, like chimpanzees. Everybody loves a chimpanzee. They're so scary.
And I think in Florida, are you allowed to have a chimpanzee?
Yeah. No, I think Florida just has a vibe to it, and people do whatever they want to a level that you think you can own a chimpanzee. I know that on the books, there's no way they're like, yeah, you can have one. Although when we watch that Chimp Love show, they're just like having chimpanzees. Right?
Was it out in the open?
I don't know. They're carrying them around in their cars and taking them to dinner at a Chili's. Like they seem to be on their hip like a baby would be. And it ends the same every time with that stuff. It's like you can't have chimpanzees. I understand that there's something. Certain people's brain chemistry got to get their hands on an exotic animal. It's a rare thing, but man, the people who do it, they're like addicted to it. And even those people, the things I know that make chimpanzees dangerous to hold in captivity, The people who are holding them are the ones who taught me that, where they're like, they start off so docile. They're so like childlike and they're so smart. And you put them in their little half shirts and their little shorties and they're bopping around and they're doing little fun games. And then once they hit adolescence, it's pure domination. It's not if, it's when. It is fingers, toes, got your nose. I mean, it's bad. Because that's what they do. If they're going to get you, they're just ripping stuff off of you. Like they just tear you asunder. One of the cops that responded to, because there's so many like just cops responding to chimpanzee calls in that show, obviously. But every cop, the one guy was like, I was in my car. It ripped the door off. And I said, the strongest guy, you could go get the strongest guy. They're not ripping a car door off. And I don't mean like when a show sets it up like, we're going to show you a guy rip a car door off and we watch this guy struggle and a bunch of jump cuts until finally he got it. I'm talking like in real time, boom, get out of the car,
Yeah.
And then
superhero stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Superhero stuff, super villain stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're not bad. I mean, that's the thing. Do I feel bad? I go, they were put in a position they shouldn't be here like that.
I think they gave several warning signs like, get rid of me, get me somewhere I can be a chimpanzee.
Right. The thing that kills me too is the same people who are like, we love them so much. They're so human-like in so many of their behaviors. They're so smart and they can sign and do all. And I go, that's all true. You can see them going mad in the limited captivity that these places. Because again, the one lady, at least, I'm like, you're not supposed to have it. So you've built this like this like serial killer lair down in your basement. And they have enough intelligence. That's a bummer. All by yourself, just in a plexiglass, that's jail. Like, and then of course, like true American diet, they're not getting any semblance. I feel like a zoo is probably taking a bunch of grapes to them or something. I just see fruits and veg going in maybe. And in these, it's like, here's another Surge Cola. Suck it down. There he goes. There. I said, Surge hasn't even been for sale. And these are old cans of Surge. On that stupid tiger guy, he was just going to Walmart and getting food out of a dumpster or something. I'm like, they're getting the worst of the Western diet you could ever have. I was like, that's nothing but inflammatories. What are you talking? Why are you giving them Gushers? What possible? Oh, they're geeked up again. They're going wild. Like they have like this little loose.
Well, they always get them ramped up and then go, hey,
yeah,
calm down.
Yeah, it's like watching.
You got them hyped up.
It's like watching parents at a theme park. I watched these kids. I worked at a theme park in LA for 10 years. I'd watch these kids come in mainlining pixie sticks that are this long. Woo! And then they're like, hey, Kyle, buddy, you gotta calm down. I was like, this, you can't
Kyle's
give them
never gonna calm down.
14 pounds of sugar and calm down. It's one or the other. Kids are already going. Chimpanzees are like on rocket fuel naturally. And then I'd be like, man, I'm giving this guy mellow mushroom tea 24/7. I need this thing chilled out.
I don't have it.
Every instance in that show, or almost every instance, it just ended with like a 911 call. It's like, shoot it in the head.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, well, you shouldn't be able to have these. This is not fair. It's just not fair.
How terrified would you be if you found out your neighbor had a chimpanzee in the basement? I would freak out. I would be, help.
That is true. That is one time I'd be snitching hard. I'd be real tell that, because I'm like, no. Because the one lady that everybody knew back in the 90s that went on Oprah, everybody heard the story. Everybody heard the story like, oh man, this lady got just ripped apart. And then she goes on Oprah and she got the hat and the veil, and Oprah's like, if I sing you happy birthday, would you take the veil off? And we're all guilty. We're like, oh, please work. And then she does, and we just go, oh, okay. Yeah.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, and it's
I meant of Oprah.
Oh yeah,
of us.
She was of all, and we're all like, she's gonna do it, okay. And then she does, and you realize like this lady didn't own the chimpanzee. This lady was a friend of someone who owned a chimpanzee. Now she wanted to be chimpanzee adjacent. She wanted to run in those circles, but that thing just it just went ape. Like there's a reason. They go, what happened? He went ape. He went ape. All my life, when one of my uncles would fight my other uncle in the yard at a holiday, they'd go, he just went ape crap. You know, they were ribbing each other. They were goofing on each other. He said something about his crooked tooth, and he went ape. Like, he went ape. And now, after seeing that movie, I go, that's where that, they do. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
You're not supposed to be. That same sequence was the guy, that's the same monkey that ripped the door off the hinges. So, it's a no for me.
I have a chimp love conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
This is my own creation.
Yeah.
But you know how Tanya had like an injury at the end?
Yeah.
And that one chimpanzee owner from Florida mysteriously died very young. I think
owner died?
No,
or the chimpanzee died. Oh, okay.
Died out of nowhere.
It died at a time where they aren't usually shooting it in the head yet.
Right. But it's getting
close.
rampy.
Yeah.
You know, it was a teen,
Yeah.
I think, and I think it hurt Tanya and they killed it. That's my chimp.
Because they knew, like,
conspiracy
we can't have
theory.
another instance of, like, whatever, violence with these things. Maybe they also were like, look, this is getting pretty hectic.
Well, they did immediately have a new one.
Of course.
So I don't think they thought it was hectic.
That is the thing. And I don't understand that. That's the other thing I don't understand with, like, how we get from A to Z on this stuff is I go, it's like you have it's like you have half a brain of a zookeeper and half a brain of like a dog fighter. You know, where I go, but it doesn't resonate with you that, like, it's just because to me, I'm an animal lover, and I go, I just saw 5 minutes of footage that tells me, like, this is not an appropriate environment to keep an animal that I do think that this woman loves in this way. It'd be like if you and I kept each other in a cage. You know, it's like, I love you. Hey, you stay in there. I go, this is serial killer stuff. Like, this is like, you know, this ain't right. Like, get the chimp out. That's not cool. He's super aggressive and sad. I see people like that. I go, oh boy, just walking past people whispering, like, if you need a hug. And they turn around, I go get it somewhere else. I'm just saying.
If you need one.
I think I've
Find
identified the problem. Go find one. No, I'm kidding. I'll hug you. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, they you know, they're running a somewhat similar wavelength to us. They definitely can have anxiety and depression and things like that. I think all animals can, or at least a lot. I'm sure there's some out there that are freewheeling. They're like, I'm cool.
I mean, just thinking about the difference between our first dog and our dog now, the chill factor is different. Yeah,
our first dog, we just got him when he was 6 weeks old, and he just didn't know anything bad.
Yeah.
And
he was chill.
Yeah, Joseph, 1 year on the street. Now, keep in mind, I'm pretty sure they found him like 3-4 months into his life and then fixed him up. So this guy maybe did 6 months on the street. He's done 9 months in a bed. And he's still like, you know, he's like, it's like constantly watching an actor try to get into a character. Like whenever they go, like, just inhabit the space.
Oh my
just
goodness.
do it. I'm like, it's too much. Chill. Just chill out, man. Scared of getting in the car. Scared of getting left. Windshield wipers. Mopeds, DoorDash guys.
And he gets stuck on smells. And I just look like a psycho, like,
Yep.
he just don't move.
The only thing that made me feel better is, you're right, you look around, because I'm always like, oh my God, we look terrible. We look like monsters or something. And then you're like, no, look at this lady. This lady, we've seen her around the neighborhood. We know she's sweet. And she's with her dog today. And she's just like, come on. You got to move. And you know how nice a person is based on how small their dog is and how much they act like they're anchored to the ground, right? I go, you must be a saint. Because if I had some of these tiny dogs, I go, stop playing, or you're not even going to be touching the ground. You're just going to be skipping down the street.
At this point, I wouldn't even notice I'd be dragging.
Right.
Because my dog is so strong that I'm just,
Yeah.
I can't.
Every once in a while, when we would like volunteer at places, if we happen to walk a dog that wasn't a pit bull, or like if we walked a friend's dog or something, when you do that first correction, like when you're just like kind of doing that, and you're doing a pit bull correction, so you're like, hey, I have to give you a little bit of like, come on. Otherwise, they'll just stay wherever they want to be forever. And I remember like once walking a friend's dog, and they were just like so immediately like, and I was like, oh, you're very fluffy, but you're not very heavy. And that made me feel terrible.
Of
just that
course.
little like, made me feel no pain, no nothing, you know. And that's where I don't compute the chimpanzee people or the people that want to keep big cats and stuff. There's so many people in that world that I don't get. Like, do you understand? I'm going to ask you because it seemed to be like, I remember watching the big cat ones, how creepy they were. And they all had like these like big cat groupies. Like, oh, I'm going to meet you at a Vegas suite and you're going to get to hold a tiger cub.
What are you asking me?
I'm asking what, why? Would that work?
How would I know?
Why would
I'm
that
not a
work?
tiger
Would that
groupie.
work on you though? Like if somebody said you could hold a tiger cub, but you got to be around this weird, like, long ponytailed maniac, that wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't want to. I don't think I would probably hold a tiger. I don't like small animal. If they're not regulated on treating the animal right, I
You don't
get
wanna,
very
like,
worried.
participate. Yeah.
I get very concerned, and I don't. It's not that I'm gonna do anything. I just don't want to.
I don't even know what you think you're beating around. What are you going to do in that scenario?
Nothing. That's what
You
I'm
said
saying.
it's not like I'm going to do it. I go, what
I'm
are you
not
going to do?
gonna.
I'm not going to eat the tiger.
I'm not gonna make a scene. I guess I'm thinking.
What do you mean make a scene about
Like,
what?
hey, you're a bad
Oh, I
animal
got you. You're
owner.
not willing. You don't want to be out here like, "Ah," but you're
Yeah.
just saying like you kind of, because I know whenever we like swam with dolphins in Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't go to like where they're capped. We went out in open water, and you were like you checked on the company excessively. You're like, we're not going to do this unless they basically were rated like they're good for the environment. They don't in any way interfere with it. And I remember the lady who took us out, she was no BS. Like, do not touch or attempt to touch.
Yeah.
You float
Well,
around
they
and you get
didn't-
to enjoy seeing them. If we're lucky, we're not going to chase after them. That was a big thing. She was like, we're not going to run them down. Sorry.
They were not gonna chase them down or go where they're. Well, I was trying to say it like 100 years ago.
Sorry.
They're not gonna go where they're sleeping or
Yeah.
bother them or things like that, where the other boats will.
Yeah.
I don't. And trust me, I wanna snuggle an animal. I wanna hold a baby panda bad.
Yeah. But not.
Well, I've never been to China, so I can't. But
Yeah. But you would, even if it ever were to happen, you need to know that, like,
if I found one that needed an adoptive mama, I'd take it.
but you wouldn't keep it in your basement and past when you should
I'd keep
be.
it in my bed.
Yeah. That's when you find out the bear and panda bear.
No, I wouldn't keep it even. I would give it to somebody who could care for it properly. I would never keep an animal, but I would want to snuggle it for the night I found it.
Oh, yeah. I used to think about that a lot as a little kid. Like, oh, it'd be cool to find something that you could bottle feed for a few days, but then it just does okay on its own.
When I was a kid, and I was very young, less than kindergarten, maybe kindergarten. I stayed the night at a friend's house and we went snipe hunting.
Yeah.
And I just, for me, it was more, I just thought I was going to find this little like weasel type little baby animal, like just fuzzy and snuggly. I guess
Yeah.
maybe a baby cub, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
So you thought it was going to be a pet.
I was like, I can't wait to have it all night in bed with me and snuggle it and then raise it.
Is that a thing everywhere?
It's a thing where they just scare you.
But is that a thing everywhere? Like, oh, we're going to go on a snipe hunt? Or
I think so.
Okay. I didn't know if that was just a southern thing because, like, hunting's so big. But people hunt everywhere, right? Like,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's everywhere.
okay.
I don't know.
I never,
Maybe it's
because
not.
I'd also heard about it. I don't think I ever went on a snipe hunt.
Yeah.
That was,
Her family just scared us.
yeah. Just
And I
kept popping
thought, I'm just a wee baby.
it. That's when
I'm
you're easiest to
crushed.
because you thought you were getting a pet,
I
not
don't
because
care
you're
about the
getting scared.
scare.
I want the pet. Is that off the table? Where you just don't realize snipes aren't real. That's the bad part.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah.
And even when I found out they were birds, I think I was like, well, I wanted a snuggle animal.
There's so many like Florida things. I remember once in Florida, somebody just being like, "You want to go frog gigging?" And I
Frog
said,
gigging, yeah.
"Oh, okay." I mean, yeah, all right. I haven't ever done any frog gigging, but I mean, sure. What is that exactly? They go stabbing frogs with a gig,
What's a gig?
like a little pointy stabber thingy.
Like a fork?
Like, yeah, kind of. And I said, "Oh, no." They, oh, you get frog legs, and I was like, "I'm
I
okay."
thought you meant just catching them as pets.
No, I had no interest in touching a frog. Even
I
the
had-
most what?
I had frog.
Yeah?
I caught frog. Yeah, all the time.
You caught frogs?
Caught frogs, caught lizards, put them
Oh.
in little buckets.
I feel like you were actually way more willing to touch those kind of things than I ever
Slugs.
was. No.
I don't touch them anymore.
No, but it was even the last time we went home and we were at a friend's pool and a frog jumped in at me, everybody's laughing their head off because I go, what? Because I don't like it. What's so funny? I'm not jumping
The
out
scream,
of the pool.
I think.
I didn't scream. I alerted some folks that their frog had entered, but I was like, I just don't like it. Doing all its business. Get out of here. Can't ever have a moment of peace. Yeah, I'm glad to be able to chat about Florida wildlife though with a Florida horse girl, non-horse girl, who would catch frogs and lizards and hope to catch a snipe. Do you have any final thoughts, feelings, jokes?
I do want to mention my favorite Florida animal is, I think it's just Florida, really, at least in the United States. Manatee. Love you.
Oh yeah, that's a great thing to end on.
Yeah.
Florida manatee. I love you.
Love you.
Bye.
We didn't hit record. We didn't hit record.